Hey, hello, welcome again. Today we're gonna be making another beautiful dress. I know you saw that picture again and you stopped. Thank you for stopping by. Like you know, we're not gonna waste time. We're just gonna go straight into our measurement. So first, as you can see, we started doing it. You're just gonna measure your shoulder, fold your fabric into 4 pieces, like you see I got here. If you ever been watching our videos before, you're gonna know how to fold your fabric. Fold your fabric into 4 pieces. You want to make sure the folding that you have, it fits the size of your hips plus at least 2 inch for sewing allowance, depending on the material you're using. I'm using a non-stretch fabric, so I'm going to be using at least 1.5 to 2 inch for sewing allowance. So you want to make sure you're folding on the size of your hips, the measurement of your hips, plus 1.5 to 2 inch sewing allowance. That's depending on the fabric you're using. If you're using a stretch fabric, you don't need to add sewing allowance, or maybe you could just add like a 1/2 inch just to have extra room in there, depending on how stretchy your material is. But this is a non-stretch fabric, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna be measuring my shoulder first. That's the first measurement we want to take here, after I already know that my fabric is folded on the size of my hips. Yes, my hip can cover there, so it's okay. So now I'm going to measure my shoulder and mark it. And when you measure your shoulder, you want to add sewing allowance, and then you come down and go at least 1 inch down to that shoulder measurement, so you can create your slope from your neck measurement. So I went ahead and measured my neck here. I just did 2.5 by 5. I'm going to be using 2.5 by 5 for my neck. And then you want to come down from your shoulder and measure your bust length. I'm going to be using 9, which I'm also going to be using for my armhole, since this is just a free dress. I'm not going to be using armhole line, bust line different. I'll just use one line. So I'm going to measure 9 over there. And then you want to come down and measure from your shoulder to your waist. You know your shoulder to waist measurement. I'm going to be using 17 for mine, and then shoulder to hips is going to be 23. So I hope you can measure yours and be sure what it is before you mark on your fabric. If you're not sure of anything, you have your tape line right there. Just take it and measure what you're not sure of. If you want to know the measurement from your shoulder to your waist, just measure from your shoulder to your waist. From your shoulder to your hips, just measure from your shoulder to your hips. So after you've gotten that, I'm just going to take I'm so used to this, even though I've got my curve ruler, but I'm still used to just using this. Now you're going to go ahead and just straighten out these lines, create the lines on which you're going to follow those markings, and draw your line across your fabric on which you're going to be marking your waist, your bust, waist, and hips measurement too. I hope you can see this. So now we're going to just go ahead and be marking and mark our measurement over there. So I'm going to mark on this line. I'm going to be marking my bust measurement. Over here, I'm going to be marking my waist measurement. And down here, I'm going to be marking my hips measurement. So now after you've done this, you want to go ahead, since I'm using a non-stretch fabric, I'm going to be adding my sewing allowance. I'm just going to be adding 1.5 for sewing allowance. Or I better just go with 2 and have some room in my dress. Just create your slope from your neckline to your 1 inch slope point over there, and then we're gonna do our armhole. Once you've done your connections on your dress, make sure at the bottom you're adding at least 2 inches to the bottom of your dress, so you'll be able to walk freely in your dress. At the bottom, just make sure you're adding at least 2 inches to the hips measurement to come down with. So you should have something like this when you're done connecting your dress measurement. You should have something that looks, you should have something like this. So if you can see, that's my shoulder to my armhole to my waist to my hips, and then it goes all the way down to the end of my fabric, because I'm just going to use my entire fabric length. I'm not cutting it because I want my dress really long. So I'm not going to be adding any sleeves to this dress. I'm just going to go with the length of the shoulder, the sleeves here. That's what I'm just going to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and go down with that slope, like maybe 2 inches down over there. I'm just going to be taking extra 2 inches over there and just connect it and draw my arm. So I just went ahead and just freehand my sleeves, since I'm not cutting my armhole to add any separate sleeves. So I just went ahead and measure my sleeves. Wherever it stopped, that's where you want to grab, measure the roundness of wherever your sleeves are going to stop on your hand. Just measure the roundness there, and that's what you will use for the opening of your sleeves. Remember to add sewing allowance to that, to leave it, so you'll be able to make it. Yeah, we're just going ahead right now to just cut it. Just follow the shape you've traced on your dress and just cut it off. Remember, I hope you added sewing allowance to your dress. So I'm just going to cut this now. You should be having 2 separate pieces that's going to be looking like this. This is the front. I'm using a V-neck in the front of my dress. So this is the front. This is the front of my dress. Don't follow this line. That line was not the center of my fabric. That's how it was folded in the store, but it's not the center of my fabric. So I did not follow it to do my cutting. I had to do my own line. So this is the front. As you can see, the sleeve is already attached because we just used the one fabric. We didn't cut separate sleeves for armhole. And this is the back. This is the back piece. So I'm just gonna go ahead now and add my tulle to the front. I added my tulle to my dress. Matter of fact, some of my tulle, I didn't put a lot. I did more. I actually gathered more of the tulle, but I'm kind of tired now. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm tired. I need to get some sleep because I work all night. Last night I worked the weekend and I haven't slept. So I'm kind of tired. So this might be enough tulle, or I might add more if I have the time, but for now I'm tired. So I'm just going to stop here, and I'm going to put my dress together, put my both pieces together now, and just join my dress, and let me see what it looks like. If I need additional tulle in the front, if I'm not satisfied with how much I have there, I'm going to add more. I can do that by just hand sewing it on. So I don't really need the machine to do that anyway. I can just hand sew it onto the dress if I need more, because doing it with the machine while it's already joined together, it's just going to be more complicated for me. So I went ahead and stitched my neck already. So I'm just going to be joining my dress now and sew it together. Thank you for sticking around with us again as we made another beautiful dress tonight. We hope you make yours. Hope you like it. God bless you. Stay safe. Bye-bye and happy Easter.